Mendota Heights police officer Scott Patrick was shot and killed on duty today. It happened after the officer stopped a car in West St. Paul early this afternoon near Dodd Road and Smith Avenue. Witnesses saw the gunman drive away from the scene in a green car. Shortly after, police arrested 3 people at a home in nearby Mendota Heights.
We have team coverage of today's tragic shooting, including eyewitness accounts from the crime scene, along with more on the arrest and officers gathering at the hospital. But first, we are going to a news conference that is supposed to begin shortly. We understand that the Mendota Heights Police Chief is supposed to speak first.
Following him will be Mendota Heights Mayor Sandra Krebs-Bach. They will be speaking to you and announcing what we can. Undoubtedly, media organizations and the community has questions regarding the events of today and how the investigation is going regarding those events. They will not be the ones to answer those questions. After the mayor has spoken, West St. Paul Police Lieutenant Brian Sturgeon will be able to answer those questions. Those questions will be we'll be able to take about 10 minutes worth of questions on that. Chief.
We're profoundly saddened to report that approximately 12:20 p.m. today, Mendota Heights Police Officer Scott Patrick traffic stop. Officers and medical personnel responded to the scene, transported Officer Patrick to Regions Hospital, where he later died. Officer Patrick, 47, was a member of the Mendota Heights Police Department from 1995 to present. Officer Patrick was a patrol officer most all of his career. He leaves behind a wife and 2 teenage children who respectfully request their privacy at this time. Initial information indicates Officer Patrick had stopped a vehicle in the area of Smith and Dodd, at which time he was shot. Police are following multiple leads and seeking the public's help in locating Brian Fitch Sr., 39, of the South St. Paul and West St. Paul areas. Anyone with information regarding the individual is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, T-I-P-S. A reward is being offered. Additionally, the Mendota Heights Community Criminal Apprehension Fund will also be offering. An investigation is underway by the West St. Paul Police Department, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Police Departments. Scott has worked here my entire career, almost exclusively on days. He was a very dedicated police officer and a family man who absolutely adored his children. It's going to be a very trying time for them. He cared deeply about the city of Mendota Heights, and it's going to be a very tough time for the Mendota Heights Police Department. With that, I'd like to introduce Mayor Sandra Krebs-Bach.
On behalf of the City of Mendota Heights, we offer our deepest condolences to Officer Scott Patrick's family during this very difficult time. And we also offer our deep condolences to the Mendota Heights Police Department. We all share in this great loss. Scott, Officer Patrick, was a dedicated officer for the City of Mendota Heights for 19 years and was our most senior officer. This is a tragic and senseless act, and we are thankful to the numerous law enforcement personnel that you see represented here that are assisting in apprehending the suspect. I want to also at this time acknowledge the presence of Mayor John Zandmiller of West St. Paul. We share in this tragedy as Officer Patrick was shot 2 blocks into West St. Paul. It's a difficult time for the City of Mendota Heights, and we ask that you please keep the Patrick family in your prayers and respect their privacy. And please keep the City of Mendota Heights in your prayers. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to introduce Lieutenant Brian Sturgeon of the West St. Paul Police Department. He'll be able to answer possibly some of the investigative questions that you may have. We are going to limit this to 5 to 10 minutes depending on the questions. Please be direct with your questions. We also ask that you identify yourself and be respectful of that manner. As he is identifying himself, I would like your name and agency as you ask the questions. After that, We'll have one more question and the interview will be done. As you know so far, all the Twitter traffic and stuff will be followed off of the St. Paul Police Twitter site at SPPDPIO. That's for all further interviews, information, and any source that may come out through this investigation. At this time, I'll introduce Lieutenant Brian Sturgeon of the West St. Paul Police Department.
Thank you. I'm here to open up questions. Anybody have one? Sturgeon, S-T-U-R-G-E-O-N, and I'm a lieutenant with West St. Paul Police Department. Officer Scott Patrick made a traffic stop about 2 blocks into the city of West St. Paul on Dodd Road close to Smith Avenue. At that time, he was shot, and we're assuming the lead agency is the investigative agency. We are being helped greatly by the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. St. Paul Police Department has been great. Cities of South St. Paul, Inver Grove Heights is assisting us, as well as Burnsville, Cottage Grove, and a number of other cities in Dakota County. We are also being assisted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. It was a routine traffic stop as far as we know. We have identified a suspect that we are looking for, and more information on him will be coming out on the Twitter account through St. Paul Police Department.
Any kind of a vehicle description?
Who are you? Excuse me, who are you and your agency?
Sorry, Jennifer Merrily with WCCO.
Coming out shortly as well. I do have a vehicle. It was given to me, but I can't.
Okay, we heard from the Mendota Heights Police Chief Mike Aschenbrenner talking about Scott Patrick, who is 47 years old, a member of that police department since 1995. He had a wife and 2 teenagers, and the police chief getting very emotional when he started talking about what a dedicated police officer and family man Scott Patrick was, and how he just adored his children.
Yeah, I said it was certainly a very tough time for the Mendota Police Department.